Well, as we are speaking, senators are now in Washington reviewing the latest FBI report. Allegedly, no evidence of sexual misconduct against Judge Kavanaugh.
Yeah, we do have a new tweet from the President of the United States. He said this: the harsh and unfair treatment of Judge Kavanaugh is having an incredible upward impact on voters. The people get it far better than the politicians. Most importantly, this great life cannot be ruined by mean and despicable Democrats and totally uncorroborated allegations. The question is, did the president write that after reading the FBI report? Did he just play his hand and say there's nothing to corroborate the accounts?
Well, he brings up a good point. Ruining a guy's life if there's no corroboration, no evidence. How far do you take this when you have a man who's worked his whole life to have a stellar reputation and he has children and a wife?
Sure. Let's bring in Dana Loesch, syndicated radio talk show host. Dana, you know, the Senate last week asked for the FBI to look into the allegations by Dr. Ford, and they have, and apparently they personally interviewed 9 different people. They got a sworn statement from a 10th. We don't know the identities of a handful of these people, but nonetheless, that's what the Senate asked for, and now here we are. Apparently, they cannot prove her allegations. Now what happens?
Yeah. Of course they can't. Good morning to you all, because these have always been unsubstantiated accusations. And so Brett Kavanaugh is innocent and should be confirmed to the Supreme Court. If, heaven forbid, that does not happen, I actually like Senator Lindsey Graham's proposal to renominate him and then appeal the Senate's verdict to the ballot box and let the American voters decide how they feel about the Senate's treatment of Brett Kavanaugh, particularly in states that President Trump has done very well, Indiana and North Dakota and Missouri. You all were talking earlier this morning about the Kavanaugh effect on some of these very close races. In my home state, I live in Texas now, but in my home state of Missouri, Senator Claire McCaskill is in more trouble than she has ever been. Yeah. And a new poll that was out this week showed that Kavanaugh was having a direct effect on her numbers. This is also having an effect on Republican enthusiasm. I hope that Republicans do not gamble. I appeal as a voter to the Senate, and particularly to Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins and Jeff Flake. Do not legitimize a hateful process by falling one vote short and ruin this man's life and the goodwill with the American voters. Do not gamble this. Confirm this innocent man.
You know, 8 Democrats on the Judiciary Committee sent a letter to Republican members yesterday suggesting that past FBI investigations into Kavanaugh may have included information about allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior or alcohol abuse. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe if that was the high school antics or the college antics, but it doesn't substantiate the claims that have been made. Democrats need to stop moving these goalposts. Either he's a gang rape captain and he sexually assaulted another woman, or he didn't. You can't keep coming up with again, moving the goalpost and saying, well, you know, we didn't like his yearbook quote, or maybe he liked beer when he was in college. Well, what college frat boy didn't, by the way? I'm not saying that it's great, but I'm saying, for crying out loud, if we're going to sit here and judge Brett Kavanaugh by these standards, I'm going to tell y'all, there are a lot of people right now in Washington, D.C. that I have seen boozing at some cocktail parties who would not be eligible to even cast a vote in this process.
Well, maybe that's why they didn't do a deep dive into his high school drinking, because many of them might not want to deep dive into their own lives. Now, I know that we're going to have Senator Coons, Chris Coons, who has done a tour with Jeff Flake, as you know. I know he's been on some of the other morning shows this morning. He's saying this investigation didn't go far enough. Keep in mind, this is the 7th FBI investigation. What do you think the Democrats are going to say to try to stop this next? Because everyone's expecting that they will.
Whatever delay tactic they can. Well, at first, remember, when we all got started with this, it was we have to allow the FBI to investigate. The FBI needs to investigate this. They need to do another background check, a 7th one, because apparently the 7th one will find what the previous 6 did not. And now that it wasn't to their liking and the conclusions don't fit their narrative, and also because they want to delay, now they're going to say that the FBI didn't do a good enough job and their narrative changes. They need to pick one and stay with it consistently, because the voters have had enough. The FBI did what they were supposed to do. The 7th background check didn't uncover anything to substantiate any of their allegations. This Salem witch hunt needs to stop, and he needs to be confirmed.
Well, we're going to find out, because we know Democrats will have a presser at 11 o'clock.
They will.
At which time they've already concluded they don't like the results.
Shocking.
Yep, I hope they defend their process. Voters are going to remember, and I hope that Republicans don't gamble with that.
All right. Dana Loesch joining us live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana.